Hey, I'm Dee. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 4. It's pretty cold tonight, and I do not have a heater or an electric heated blanket, so I figured I'd share how I stay warm on these cold winter nights car camping inside my SUV. So in the hopes to help out with some insulation around my windows, I made these car curtains, and the car curtains are made out of blackout window curtains, and then this $5 material that I found at Michael's craft store. And I just stapled those two together, and I hang them with binder clips in hopes that that will at least keep some insulation going, since I don't really use the Reflectix, which I probably should, but that's a whole other story. So that's one of the things that I do to try to help with insulation. I also have a foam barrier underneath me. I have 2 camping mats that you guys have probably already seen. So that helps some of the cold from underneath the car actually reaching me. That way my back isn't freezing at night. I also sleep in layers. So generally on cold nights like this, I have either thermals on or some kind of t-shirt or something loose on as my first layer. Then I put on like a sweatshirt or a hoodie and sweatpants. I also put on cozy fuzzy socks. Sorry, I gotta watch this water. I think it's ready. Making some tea. That's another thing that I do, is I make some tea or hot cocoa, something to keep me warm before I go to bed, or just, give me a little warmth before I go to bed. And this also helps a little bit with heating up the car right before I go to bed. Let me put this up here so it does not burn anything. I also, in addition to dressing in layers, I put on a hat. I don't always like to sleep with a hat on. It can get like itchy and uncomfortable. So in those times, I just take off the hat, excuse my hair, put on my hoodie, and that will help out. I'll put my hat back on right now just to keep my head warm. Sometimes if it's like extremely cold too, I'll put on a pair of gloves. Another thing that I do to keep warm without like a heater or electric blanket is, on these cold nights, I do have a 40-degree sleeping bag. Now, I know that's not much, but it helps. So what I do is I have extra blankets that you guys saw that I keep in pillowcases and things like that. And so I take these extra blankets and I tuck them inside of my sleeping bag. And then I crawl into my sleeping bag, zip up, and usually that's enough to keep me warm. I don't think I've ever slept in my car under like around 30 degrees. So usually this type of setup works for me. Generally, what I try to do is avoid places that are going to be extremely cold at night. But sometimes, the weather does what the weather does. So I pack extra blankets for those nights where I might encounter it. Like tonight, I think it's going to get down to like 32 degrees. So I think that's freezing. Yeah, that's freezing. Yeah, so that's what I do to keep warm. Not very much to it. Just a bunch of blankets, a bunch of layers, just like if you were tent camping, I guess. That is how I stay warm during the winter months when I sleep in my SUV. Now, I have a question for you all. Since we'll be doing Vlogmas every day up until Christmas Eve, December 24th, I wanted to know if you all would be interested in like a Q&A video, if y'all had questions that you want to ask, and I'll take the time to look through all those questions and answer all those questions on a Vlogmas. So if you guys would be interested in that, you can start leaving comments below, questions in the videos, and I'll go ahead and start putting those questions together, and we'll do a video together, maybe a fireside video answering your questions. Also, don't forget about the giveaway. If you go back to Vlogmas Day 1, you'll have the details on how to start entering for your chance to win some gifts on December 20th that will be announced at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching these videos. I hope they're interesting to you. Go ahead and leave those questions so we can have a Q&A session. I hope you're enjoying Vlogmas and having a great start to your December. See you tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for Vlogmas Day 5. All right. Have a good night, you all.